Tensions are flaring between China and the Philippines. Last week, it was a war of words. This week, it's a naval confrontation, a risky chase at sea, a dangerous collision, and the possibility of a grave miscalculation. Let me tell you what happened. Earlier today, a Philippine Coast Guard vessel was sailing in the South China Sea, specifically near the Scarborough Shoal. This is a coral reef island claimed by both sides. Today, Manila was dropping aid to fishermen in the region. That's when China meddled. Two of their ships began chasing Manila's vessel, one PLA Navy warship and one Chinese Coast Guard ship. They fired water cannons at the Filipino vessel. They also pulled off dangerous maneuvers in front of it. The result? The two Chinese ships ended up colliding. Take a look.
Chinese Coast Guard vessel number.
The Coast Guard ship took a battering. Just look at the front part of the vessel. It has suffered substantial damage. Manila says the Chinese ship is now unseaworthy, meaning it can sail, but it cannot perform all its duties. After the collision, the Filipino ship reached out. They offered medical help.
This is Philippine Coast Guard vessel BRP Teresa Magbanwa, MRRV 9701. We have medical personnel on board. Should you need any assistance, we are willing to provide assistance. Over.
And what is China saying? They have not reported the collision. In fact, they say they were acting within the law, that they managed to drive away the Filipino vessels. Sure, if this is the strategy, good luck. Just ram into each other to drive away your rivals. But seriously, this is extremely dangerous. And it's not isolated either. China is becoming more and more reckless in the South China Sea. They're regularly confronting Filipino vessels. We saw similar incidents in May, last December, last June and last April. Today, things went one step ahead. China's risky moves led to a direct collision. But what if the Chinese ship had collided with a Filipino ship? What if the collision had injured or killed Filipino sailors? Then the issue may have escalated. The question is, what led to this latest flare-up? Possibly the Filipino president's interview to us. His name is Ferdinand Marcos Jr. He spoke to First Post last week when he visited India. And in that conversation, he spoke about Taiwan. Listen to this. Experts fear that Beijing will invade Taiwan before the end of this decade. If that were to happen while you're still in power, would you be open to allowing the U.S. use resources and bases in the Philippines to defend Taiwan, or would you rather stay out of it?
To be very practical about it, if there is a confrontation over Taiwan between China and the United States, there is no way that the Philippines can stay out of it, simply because of our physical geographic location. So if you think about it, if there is an all-out war, then we will be drawn into it. And I assure you with the greatest hesitation, but we will have to defend our territory and our sovereignty.
That triggered the Chinese. They condemned Marcos' statement. They accused him of playing with fire, but the president is not backing down. He says Beijing is misinterpreting his comments on Taiwan. At the same time, he doubled down on them.
We are, I think, for propaganda purposes, misinterpreted. If there is a war over Taiwan, we will be drawn. Hihilain tayo sa aya't gusto natin. Kicking and screaming. We will be drawn and dragged into that mess. Whatever you do, come on, wag na tayong hope. I love this saying, hope is not a plan. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't. But if it does, we have to plan for it already.
At the root of this crisis is territory. China claims most of the South China Sea, but those same parts are claimed by other countries too, like Vietnam, the Philippines and Brunei. With the Philippines, there are multiple disputes, but two stand out. The first is the Scarborough Shoal, the second is the Spratly Islands. China has taken over these places with force. The Philippines controlled the Scarborough Shoal until 2012, but that year China seized it from Manila. Since then, they have blocked Filipino voyages near it. And they refuse to climb down. Global courts have rejected China's claims. Most countries have condemned their land grabs, but China is undeterred. They have tried to build military structures on these disputed sites, basically to try and cement their grip over their territories. Recently, some countries have pushed back, like the Philippines. Manila is a treaty ally of the US. They seem confident enough to challenge China. President Marcos made that clear to us. Your recent State of the Nation address is coming under a lot of scrutiny. In last year's speech, you promised to not yield even an inch of Philippine land in disputed areas. This year, your statement did not make an explicit mention of that, of the West Philippine Sea, but you focused more on non-alignment on Manila's part. Would you say you watered down your statement? Did you, and why?
No, I did not. You're the second person to ask me that. Let me say it again. The Philippines will not cede 1 square inch of our territory. We will not give up the exercise of our sovereign rights.
China is playing a dangerous game here. This is not some harmless cat-and-mouse chase. This is a maritime face-off. These are big navies with a lot of firepower. Even the smallest mistake could be fatal. And knowing China, they will be licking their wounds. Beijing is very proud of its navy. But what happened today is not a good look on them. How can two of your